Okay guys, welcome to a new video. You can see my gross fleshy fingies, my thumbs. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah. Okay, so today we are actually going to be sitting down with the Akai Force again. And as per one of the requests in one of my last videos, we're going to be looking at doing some drum sample business. So let me go ahead and pop this thing on. I love the colors. Look at all the colors. Oh, beautiful. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to go through a couple things, things that I do, different places where you can get free samples, because there's a lot of them. Well, not places, but just how you can get free samples, and live recording, and different ways to actually put in samples into a sequence and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm just going to go ahead and do an empty project. Takes a second to load. Boom, there we go. So what I'm going to do real quick is I delete both these. Yeah, get rid of those. Nice blank slate, literally nothing on it at all. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up. I'm going to go ahead and select a drum. Now, when you select a drum in the Force, all you have to do is you can do shift click. You can look at all the parameters, and when you're ready, you can just hit edit. You click that, and boom. Now it shows us that we can assign samples to this page. But what you really want to do is you want to go to your note, and then there's all the pads that you can actually put the drums on. There's nothing on them right now, like I said, blank slate. Now loading drums into this is very, very easy. What you can do is you just go to menu, you can go to your browser, you can, if you have a sample already in the buffer under sample edit, you can import that. But you can just go in your browser. I have an SD card put in, so I'm just going to go to places. I'm going to go to my SD card, and I have a couple of different drum kits in here and sample packs. Now, what came with the, I believe it was the circuit, it came with two different bundles. It was the Elements of Dystopia, Elements of House. Now, in those, they have all these great, fabulous sounds, but they also have full kits. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on one of these kits, and we are going to get started. That says all claps. We don't want that. We'll just click this one, and it's called Call Me Shirley Kit. You hit it, and it'll slowly load all those in. There are some files that won't be supported, but that's fine. I'll load all the ones that are supported in, and they'll load them in a pretty nice way. Let me go ahead and do that. Ooh, that's fancy. Okay, so we have a bunch of sounds loaded in. That was super quick, but let's go ahead and we will add in some more basic kick snare sounds. I'll go into this one. This is just it's called the Blue drum kit. You can find it on Google. Literally, a lot of these drum kits are free. I did not pay a dime for anything you're about to hear. Go to Google, do a Google search, and make sure that if it is a paid product that someone's putting on there for free, I really recommend going out and actually just buying the sample pack. But if it's just a regular free set, which there's a lot out there, you really don't need to pay for anything, I highly recommend it. Just go ahead, do a Google search, pull up some cool kits. So I'm actually going to grab some basic kicks. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to go to a blank thing here. Let me turn on the audition. There we go. Alright, so I like that one. I'm going to load that one in. And that one. I'm going to load that one, and I'm going to put that right there. So there we go. Boom. You got two more kicks right there. I'm actually going to grab a couple more snare hits. Yeah, let's get a softer snare in there. You know what? I just grabbed a snare too. Actually, snare one sounds good as well. So I'll do that. They're almost identical. One's a little bit shorter. And we are going to also grab some hats. So let's go in there. I like a nice short hat. So these ones are really quiet. We can edit that though, and I'll actually go through how to edit it. So we'll grab This one seems to have a little bit of wiggle room, so we'll do that. Okay, cool. So we have a bunch of different drum bits loaded in now. There's a couple different ways that you can sequence these things, one of which is just straight through the step sequencer. Now, with the step sequencer, you only get the bottom left quadrant of your samples. That's why a lot of the ones that come with the Akai are literally just sample kits that just fill in that little square. So that way you can just sequence them in. So I usually stick to the note and then I just play it in. If you want it quantized, you can go to Matrix and change the knob settings to screen, and you can do the time correct right from there. It says it right here on the second knob. You can adjust your time correction. I'm actually going to turn that off for now, and then we are going to go back. Oh, it's already here. So now what we're going to do is, like I said, it's a little bit quiet. I want it to be a little bit snappier, so what I'm going to do is I can go ahead, click edit, click that pad, and boom. Right here on the touchpad we have our editing screen. I can edit the start, stop. So I'm actually going to bring this up a little bit, and I'm going to bring this end in a little bit. And then what I can do is I can go straight to the effects, and I can, actually, you know what? Yeah, no, I'll do it this way. So I'll go in and I will just do, there's a tube distortion, I believe it's called. Tube drive, we'll do that. Really subtle, nothing too crazy. Okay, so we have a couple of samples set up. Now, not only can you put effects on each individual sound, but when you go into your mixer, you can also go to Inserts IO, and there you go. You have some more insert effects to put in. You can also do send effects, so you can set it up under master. If you go to master, you go back, you can see right here, these are our returns right here. We have 4 return slots, and then we even have our outputs, our master outputs. We can put more on there. But for right now, we're going to go back to our regular mixer. So let's hit that. Boom, we're back. Go ahead and do that. I'm just going to go ahead and I will put a compressor on. It usually puts it on pretty strong. So, yeah, see, that's pretty strong. That's pretty loud. But it helps glue everything together. If you want, you can also turn the mix down, which is nice. So if you want to have a mix of like your drier drums and then your fully compressed drums, you can also do that. I'm going to turn the ratio down, turn the output down just a little bit because it's a little bit loud. We're going to turn up the attack because we want it to be really, really quick. So. Now, as you can hear, these pads are velocity sensitive, so which is nice, so that way you can really go really light. You can do really light things, and then you can go really hard. You can also go into edit, click on that, and you can go to your velocity, and then you can do a couple different things. You can change your panning for each of these. You can do your velocity, how hard you hit it depends on if the sample changes, because you can add up to, I think it's just 4. Yeah, you can add up to 4 samples on top of each other, and then as you hit harder, different samples will come in. I'm not going to get too crazy with that. I don't have time, but you can do a lot of other things. You can do LFO modulation, so that way if you want, like, that hat is straightforward. It's just going straight to center. We can go ahead and hit pan, and we can make this bad boy dance a little bit. And that's pretty much that. So now I'm going to go ahead and we can go into the step sequencer, and it's really straightforward. Basically, here I'll go into clip, and I'll create a new clip. And you can see you have your scroll, your zoom, all that fun stuff. Now you only have these knobs here, and there's not a lot of information put on these knobs for this. I think that in a future update, they need to edit how this reacts. because it would be nice to change this, like change the quadrants here or something. But for right now, this is what we have. So let's see what I have. I'll stick with that hat, and we'll just go ahead and just add that bad boy in. Oh, whoops, just hit another sample. That's easy though. I go back and then boom. And now I did it so that way whatever velocity I hit is what that sample will go in as. So you can see we have a bunch of harder hits and a bunch of softer hits. So if we play that, oh, whoops, am I not? Oh, I gotta go launch. I gotta actually, there we go. So already that's sounding pretty good. It's got a lot of movement in it. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this to just the 1 bar. There's a lot of movement just from putting those in with the velocity on. Now, when you're going to do your kicks and stuff like that, you might want to make it so that way it's only 1 velocity. So let's pick a velocity. Now, as hard as I hit it, doesn't matter. It's gonna put it at that velocity, which this one's 62, 56, and it goes down until you get to the one where it is whatever velocity you want. So I'm going to put it in as a medium 62% velocity, and we can just kind of put in some notes here. That might be a little bit too quick. Let's... So something super basic right there, right off the bat, and then we can go ahead and just... So that's like a super basic way of just quickly shoving notes in, and it'll all be in time. You know, it's all quantized, it's slapped to the grid. Now, what I like to point out while I'm here is in the top left, it has clip, event, and list. If you go to event, it gives you the option to select your kicks and hits, so that way you can edit the end and start time, move them around. What I do is, if you want to make it so that way, if you input the notes but you don't want them to sound too stale, is you can actually nudge them left or right. It's already selected on nudge. I just click the lasso tool, I selected it, and then you just go ahead, you can nudge it, boom, and it'll tell you how much you're nudging it by, so that way, you know, you have an idea, and you can click it back into place if you don't want it to be out of time. So let's say you did play something in live and you want to snap it onto the grid and you just want a couple of them to be dead on. You can go ahead, just wiggle right in there. Perfect. Look at that. All right. I'm actually going to go, we're going to go to the main, and I'm going to go ahead and delete that because we don't need that. Get that out of here. Now I'm actually going to add a synth really quick, just so that way we can have some context. I just put that there so that way we have something to mess around with while we're doing the drums. So that way, when we do compression and side chain compression, you can hear the difference, especially with the Mother Ducker. You know, they just put that in, so I do want to screw around with that a little bit. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go back to Matrix, launch, select that bad boy. I'm going to go on a note, and boom, all of our drums are right there, ready to go. I'm actually going to turn them down a little bit. They're a little loud. So there we go. What the heck? What would you use that sound for? Nice. Okay. So I'm actually going to slow this down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. There we go. So now I slowed down the tempo, but you know, all the MIDI, it's MIDI data. It's not, you know, it's not audio, so it will slow down and it'll sound perfectly fine. Thank goodness for that. Let's go ahead and play and see what we can do. I am going to sequence the hi-hats. I can't reach them. Well, I guess I'm using these ones again. There we go. So there we go, we got something going on with that. I actually think that this hi-hat's a little bit dry. I might go ahead and put a little bit of reverb on it. So let me go ahead and do that. And we're going to turn the early friction. Okay. There we go. So let's take a listen to what we have now. Sounds good to me. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add my kicks. There we go. So that's recorded in. Now it's on record still. So if I wanted to, I can just keep going. So let's put it in one of these drier hi-hat. I mean snares. So a couple of these are a little out of time. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select them. I'm going to nudge them over a little bit. Put them on track a little bit. And it sounds like that sample might even have a gap in front of it. So I'm actually going to edit that. Yep, there is quite a big gap in front of it. There we go. Okay, perfect. Now, also what I can do is now that I actually have those set up, I can copy them and layer them with a different sample, and I can even offset that secondary sample. So that way we have 2 snares hitting and it'll be a little bit bigger. So I'm actually going to go ahead and select those one more time. Boom, got them selected. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy them. And then what I can do is I'm going to actually zoom in a little bit so I can see better and grab better. And I'm going to move these down, and then I will paste them. And then that way I can shift, paste. Oh, shit. Oh, well, no big deal. There we go. Boom. Done. I'm actually going to zoom out, make sure that looks good. Yeah, it looks all right. Okay, let's take a listen. Now what I can do is I can take these drums and I'm going to actually pan them left and right, so that way we have a little bit of stereo going on. I can also affect them separately, so if I wanted to, I could put a delay on one but not on the other, so that way it has a different kind of vibe to it. But what I'm going to do right now is just pan them left and right. So let's go ahead. Is it pan velocity? No, yeah. We're going to pan it totally left. This one totally right. And then I'm going to have another snare or a clap or whatever these sounds are come right up the middle. Such strange sounds. I chose a very strange kit for this. I'll use that. There we go. That sounds good. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to have this one going straight through the middle, and I'm just going to go and do the same thing I just did. So I'm going to find out where it is. It's right down there. I'm going to go ahead and hit paste. And it's already pasted. Let's go ahead and hit play, see what that sounds like. Now I'm also going to go ahead and beef up that kick section. Right now we just have that one. I could just double the kicks. But what would be the fun of that? Or I could make one of these an accent. So let's go ahead. And I'm actually going to just go ahead and draw some of these bad boys in. Whoops. This one as well. I'll do this one as well. Okay. Now what I can do is I can do the sidechain compression, which I'm actually going to go ahead and do now. So I'll go back to the mixer. Now I don't want everything in the kit to send sidechain. I'll do just that original kick. That one right there. Yeah, that one. So I'm going to go ahead and hit edit. Boom. Go in here. Go to my effects. Effects none. We're going to go ahead and select the Mother Ducker. But we're going to do the Mother Ducker input because that's going to be inputting the signal. And it has no editing. It just says you can select which bus it is, so that way you can have multiple sidechain compression going. But we just want the one. So there you go. And then I go to, I go to my mixer. Sorry, a brain fart. And you go in, and you just go ahead and add the mother ducker in to this bad boy, and you're gonna do it just says mother ducker. Click that in, and boom, there you go. Now this one you can see you have a lot more editing on it. You have your ratio knee, attack, release, threshold, gain, all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and you can hear how the sound is definitely being compressed as that kick comes in. Perfect. And now it's just easy as just adding more parts. So I'm going to go ahead and just build around this a little bit. I will show you how you can use drum loops as well. So let me go ahead and quickly show that off. I'll just go ahead and I'm going to add an audio track. And then the way that audio tracks work is there's nothing in it. It's empty. There's nothing, you can put in it. You go in there and it says track edit not available for audio track. What we're going to do, excuse me. What we're going to do is we're going to go into our browser, and I have a folder of just distorted drum breaks. So you can load that in. Boom, that's loaded in. Okay, so now when I go to launch, it's right there. It's already there. So I'm going to mix that in really, really quick so that way. And it's automatically going to sync to whatever BPM because it'll have it warped. We are going to go back to Matrix, and I'm going to go mixer, turn this down quite a bit. Now it just adds a little bit of texture underneath so that way it's not just dead air behind it. And then we can go back into our lovely piano. We can just hit notes. If we want to get fancy with it, we go into hype, get ourselves a lead. Let me go ahead and hype. There's a really, really nice lead sound in here actually under lead soft. Smooth and warm, I believe. And I'm actually going to turn to my Gaia. I have my Gaia plugged in right here. It is going to be my MIDI controller. Because with this, it's nice, but there's no pitch and mod, and I love it. I love it. So go ahead and okay, we're just doing regular C thing. So. Nice. And there you go. That is something that you can do with the Akai Force. Quick and easy, as you can see. It took me maybe 10 minutes if I wasn't talking to just go ahead and just quickly put that stuff in, edit those, put the sidechain compression in, and then just build those parts around it. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave that in the comments section below. If you want to see me do anything in the future, go ahead and also leave that in the comments section. I'd be happy to do weird stuff. This was actually pretty fun, and it gives me an opportunity to show what this thing can actually do. Now, all these samples that I found, like I said, were free online. Do a little research. Just go into Google, type in free drum kits, free drum samples, and there's a whole world of samples out there for you. Now, next week's video is going to be just creating a song from scratch. I'll go ahead from start to finish and make a whole song for you guys. Thank you very much, guys. Go ahead, like, subscribe, do all that fun jazz. And if you have any questions, let me know. Peace.